Hey there everyone, it's Anthony back with another video here on Single and Placing. Hi, hope you're having a fantastic day, weekday, weekend, week, month, evening, morning, overnight, all of that good stuff. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Today we've got a finish and review for you, but this one's a little bit different because I've already finished this kit once, but I mentioned in the finish and review of this, which is Lotus Koi Fish by Ranjitha Anoop and Diamond Art Club, I mentioned that I was going to do that kit again, but with some enhancements, and then do a little comparison to show you the differences between the two projects, the two kits. So I am done with the second one over here. So I wanted to show that, reveal that, and then we'll talk a little bit about the differences, my thoughts seeing them side by side, what drills I replaced and where, all of that good stuff. So in order to do that, I just realized that my picture of my legend and my enhancements is on my phone, and I am currently recording with my phone, so I'll need to send those to my computer. So 1 second, but while I do that, I'm gonna have you take a peek at the second canvas, the enhanced canvas. I'll do a pan over of it. So let's reveal take 2 of Lotus Koi Fish by Ranjitha Anoop and Diamond Art Club. Okay, with the magic of technology, I was able to airdrop those 2 pictures of my legend and my enhancement list to my work phone without having to take my personal phone off of the tripod. I'll just have to delete them when we're all done. One other thing I want to mention is I just got back from the office today, and we've had a pretty intense storm come through Golden, and so I'm not getting much, if any, natural light right now. We have a ton of cloud cover, and so I'm just using my ring light, which has a very neutral kind of hospital white vibe. So just keep that in mind, that that's the kind of light you're getting in this video. But aside from that, I'm not going to make any excuses for or give any justification for what you're seeing here versus what you're seeing here. We're going to be brutally honest. We're going to talk about it. So, okay, well, here we go. This is my enhanced version of Lotus Koi Fish by Ranjitha Anoop and Diamond Art Club. This is a 46 by 64 centimeter round drill canvas with 36 colors, and it originally came with 5 ABs, 5 enhancement drills. I went ahead and swapped out 12 of the non-ABs to doll it up. So this is the unenhanced, straight from Diamond Art Club, and then this is the one that I did. So, taking a look at it, I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence with how it turned out. I think I'll just kind of give you a cut to the chase, and then we'll talk about it more in detail. I think for me personally, the perfect amount would have been somewhere in between these two, not swapping out 12 full colors, but maybe doing a couple more than just the ABs that were provided here. I think there's certain pieces of this project that look really good, and other pieces I probably either would have picked a different color or should have picked a different color, or maybe not enhanced them at all. But that was kind of the point of this comparison. I really wanted to doll this up and kind of go wild with it. just to see where I would keep things, where I would change things, and show you a real difference in how much of a contrast can be had depending on what you pick. I think that overall, the things that are jumping out most to me is the fact that the yellows, the bright yellow, like canary yellows, bright yellows and oranges, do a lot to create some dimension and effect in the original version. And some of the colors that I picked to enhance with are a little bit more pale, a little bit more silvery, kind of more of a cool yellow, if that makes sense. And so I feel like this feels a little washed out to me. Even though there's so much enhancement, it actually looks less vibrant, in my opinion. Now, you might think that's fine, but I personally, was I to do this again, maybe I'd pick some yellow fairy dust drills that have that true color tone behind them, as opposed to sparklers, which they're glass with just a backing on them that's that color, so it can throw off more cooler tones. They tend to be less like pops of color and more just kind of like general sparkle. And I think maybe the yellow that I picked in particular was just not quite right for this canvas. So let's go ahead and talk about it. I don't dislike this. I do like it. I think that I could have, we'll talk about it. I'm not in love with it. We'll just say that. And it was really good exercise, because I am by no means some sort of like charting expert. I figure this out as I go every single time. So this was a really good learning exercise for me. Again, I think for me, I would like something in between these two. I think I went a little too far in one direction, or in the enhancement direction with this. So the other thing I think might be throwing me off too is the fact that this looks so much more vibrant with the black border as opposed to the white border. Almost feels like it's washing it out a little bit. So maybe once I paint the border, I'll feel differently, but regardless, let's get into it. So I want to talk about what I did enhance and where. So let's go ahead and do that, starting with DMC 321, which was symbol number 7. I replaced that with the Garnet Sparkler from DP with Sparklers. So that's going to be anywhere you see that deepest red, which is right here, 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 and that's really about it. So over here, you'll see it around these, boom, 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 and boom. So there's that. Next up, we have we have DMC 605. I replaced that with the AB Glow Glass in Morganite. That's going to be this super paley pink color here, that super paley pink color here, and there's some kind of throughout, but it's that lightest pink, it's over here on this side, this lighter swath of pink here and here, or maybe just here, just here. So there's that. Then, and that's the color that I enhanced, that had the most in drills to swap out, was that Morganite. Moving on, I went ahead and swapped out DMC 726 for Daffodil Sparklers. That's going to be these yellow ones, the brightest yellow here on the tops of all of our petals there, and then there's a little bit here. You can see how much that color kind of shifts when I pick it up. So much more yellow when you're looking at it dead on, but when we're looking at it at a bit of an angle, they give off much more of a silver vibe. So it's almost, the angle of it also kind of changes the vibrancy. I actually think it looks better when you're looking at it straight on, it actually looks better. So I might have to hang them both up and take a look from where I'm standing, and maybe from where you're looking at it. Those yellow drills almost look silver, but then when I lift it up, they look bright yellow, those daffodil drills. So that could be just the angle and the lighting too. You might be seeing it slightly different than I'm seeing it. So maybe I need to keep that in mind when I when I give my brutal review of my own work. So that's daffodil. Next up we have 14. 14 was DMC 741. And I replaced that with the Bullion sparklers, and you'll see those just right here in the tips. It's another kind of orangey yellow that's right here, kind of in the center of the lotus flower. So you'll see it over here, and these kind of orangey yellows here, and a little bit throughout there. So I replaced that. Moving on, we have Honeydew. That was a replacement for 742, again in that same area, right here in that center, there in the center as well. We also have Indian Rose, which was kind of a last minute swap. I had picked a different color originally for that pinkish red, but I ended up finding Indian Pink and really liking that. That was a swap for $8.91, and that's going to be this kind of corally pink right here in the center. It comes all the way up through here. You can see it here on this one. I'd say out of all of them, all of the enhancements, that's my favorite one, is that Indian Pink. I really like that one. You actually find a couple of them here on this goldfish as well, or koi fish, this koi fish. All right, then we have a 907. I swapped that out with the Opal Seafoam Glow Glass. That's this big old chunk coming down here. So here it's represented in this green. And I really like that one as well. I think that one turned out really good too. Okay. And then after that, we have DMC 947, I swapped that out with the Amber sparkler. That's in this center here and here, essentially. This orange, boom, 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 and a little bit right here. So yeah. Then we have 956. I swapped that out for the Copper. Now this is one that we'll get to it overall, but I'll just point out where it is. So it's this deeper color right here, coming out here, and here. It's pretty much throughout. It makes this curve right here. It's actually this kind of medium tone pink right here that you see. So I made that swap. Then we did 967, I swapped out for the Mocha Nectar Sparkler, and once again, we'll get to it, but that's going to be just above the Morganite here, and it's in a couple other spots. Right up here doing some bordering as well, and right here. It's replacing, and it might be hard to tell on camera, but it's replacing this kind of peachy color, here, and here. I actually really like that, but we'll get to my overall thoughts here in a second. Okay, then we have DMC 993. I swapped that out for Mocha Mistletoe, and that is very sporadic. I don't even know if we'll be able to identify where it went. I barely use that color. It's like a greenish kind of hue, and I almost want to say it was somewhere here in the background, but I feel like I pulled that container down and used it maybe twice in this entire project. So let me see. It was $9.93. It's almost kind of a seafoamy green. I tell you what, I don't even know if I could identify Where it is, it really was so incredibly minimal. Oh, here it is. It's right here. Just that little line. You can see it right here. Just that little line. And then again here, just a couple pieces. And then here, just this little splotch. It's so minimal. I barely used that color, but I really like it. I think it worked well for this canvas, but I didn't get to use it a lot. And then we have 3766. I swapped that out for the AB Glow Glass and Waterfall. That's anywhere you see this really light blue. I swapped it out for the Waterfall just to add a little bit something extra. It's here as well. And then we see it occasionally throughout the background here as well. So yeah. Then we have, oh, is that it? Yeah, that might be it. Okay, cool. So a total of 12 enhancements. It worked up fantastic. Sometimes with a high amount of enhancement drills, sometimes enhancement drills can be or sparklers, I should say, can sometimes be ever so slightly larger than regular drills. So when you have a bunch of them together, they can start to crowd or start pushing into the next symbol. So you just have to be careful sometimes, but I didn't have that issue at all with these drills. They were all the right size, or some colors were slightly smaller than other larger ones next to them. So it really worked out. But the sparklers, those glass drills, can have very minimal variations in size from color to color. I definitely found that the copper color was more flared at the bottom, whereas those mocha mistletoe and those kind of colors, the mocha mistletoe, the morganite, they were a little bit less flared and just kind of straight down. So they look a little bit smaller. Very minimal though. Working with the enhancement drills was totally fine. No issues there. I really enjoyed the process working on both of these projects. Now, let's just talk a little bit about my thoughts on the enhancements I picked, where I think I went wrong, or what I might do differently next time. What I really think I did here is I think I picked too many soft, kind of pastel, subtle hues, as opposed to more true pinks and vibrant pinks, and I picked some more cooler tones. So this looks a little washed out to me. It looks almost like the faded version of this, once again, even though this has a lot of sparkle. And when I lift it up and I get to see the colors straight on, it does brighten it up a little bit. So it looks a lot better when it's actually, when the light's hitting it head on, as opposed to me looking at it from an angle. So I do need to keep that in mind. Looking at it straight down, it does become more pop-ish, but I think where it's really losing its luster is in some of these pinks that looked beautiful online and they look beautiful in person, but they just kind of wash out the lotus a little bit. So that morganite, that mocha, and the nectar, those pinks in particular just kind of wash it out a little bit. So I feel like we lose a little bit of that color transition. The other thing that I think is impacting that is the mocha in the nectar and the morganite. Those two colors, they are different, but they're very close. And they looked more different on the website than they do in person, and I'll give you a little more of a close-up. So, you can see this here is the morganite, and then this here is the mocha nectar. Now, when you look at it head-on, the morganite has almost kind of a yellowy tinge to it, but at certain lights, they're very close. Even in the containers, I was like, oh no, are those almost the same color? But here and here are two separate colors. They do look different for sure. I mean, like when you get up close, they look different, but it almost looks like the same color, but with just like a different coating. Like one has an AB coating and one doesn't. So I think that's another reason why we're losing a little bit of that dimension and a little bit of that vibrancy, because I kind of turned this rosy pink and this kind of peach into essentially the same kind of pale pink, you know? So once again, it's just a different look. Not that it's necessarily bad, but seeing them next to each other, this feels much more what I like as far as pops of color. Once again, I think I went a little too cool here, but then when I did decide to go vibrant, I really went vibrant, you know. That Indian pink, I think that looks gorgeous, and I think it would look really good was this over here, you know. The amber, once again, it almost kind of made it look kind of brown and muted. It looks really good, but compounded with all the other enhancements I did, I think it's a little much. But so the amber, going back, I would have left the same. Most likely, all of my orange hues that I thought, oh, that's going to look so good, using the copper and the amber and the, what were a couple of the other ones? Let me look at my phone. Hold on. The copper mainly. Where was it? The honeydew. Oh, the bullion. The copper. The bullion. And the. Let's see. And the amber. They're just all kind of deeper metallic tones. So it took that really kind of vibrant orange and I made it kind of brown. But then there was one color that, for whatever reason, I decided not to enhance. This orange, I should have done it. I should have just committed, because now I feel like this orange just looks a little out of place. So I could have done without the copper, without the bullion, just left those oranges and those yellowy oranges all the same. Just left them the same. So another area where I think it was time to backpedal a little bit, and instead I pressed on the gas. So learning experience. It's all a learning experience. I really like how this green turned out. I ended up picking this particular color, the Opal Seafoam Glow Glass, because I had it on hand already and I didn't have to purchase it again. If I was to go back and do this differently, I would pick more of a limey kind of green as opposed to a seafoam green to really mimic this pop of color that we get here. I think it looks fine. It's one of the better enhancements on this canvas that I think I chose, but I would do more of a solid lime color next time. And then as far as the garnet goes, also I want to call out that copper was also listed on the DP Sparkler site as a rose gold, and I was like, ooh, that'll look really good. So you can see it kind of comes here, 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 here. It basically does a lot of the outlining, the copper and the bullion. I would much have rather picked a different vibrant pink. I feel like moving into the metallic almost changes the entire vibe of the enhancement drill and just naturally is going to make it darker. And I think it really takes away from the flow that we see in the original image. So if I was to do this again, I probably would omit any kind of metallic-y colors whatsoever. I would just do the sparklers that are actual, you can see through the glass, as opposed to them having that metallic coating. I think that really, especially right here, it really breaks the flow up, and it starts to be kind of make it look like, what even is this, you know? I think at the end of the day, I really should have just done the Indian pink and the green, and I could have probably kept the mistletoe and the blues and, you know, the stuff that's kind of around. But yeah, when it comes to the center of this kit, the amber could go, the copper could go in favor of either what's been charted or something a little bit more truly pink as opposed to this metallic. It's especially a little jarring when you look at like the fact that it created this really harsh line right here in this petal. Hopefully you can see that. I don't like that. You can see where it transitioned from one color to the other right here, from a regular drill to the metallic, regular to metallic right there. It's just a little abrasive. So next time I probably wouldn't, if I'm going to do the regular sparklers, you know, stick with that. Don't, at least for this particular kit, not switch over to doing metallics and stuff. And then the last thing are the yellows. I picked a couple different yellows. I had honeydew in here, which you can see here, and that honeydew is a little bit more of an kind of a reflective orangey yellow, and then the daffodil is that true yellow. I really think those look okay. However, if I was to do this again, I probably would not select to swap out the honeydew, leave that as is, and just do the daffodil along the tips here. So here and along the tips there, just do the daffodil, or pick a fairy dust color so I still get the true tone of the drill behind it, just with a little mica coating. I think there was a couple opportunities here where fairy dust would have been more appropriate than sparklers. You start to see the color transitions between the mocha, nectar, which is here, and the morganite, and the daffodil, and the bullion, and you get these kind of like, you know, spikes where, you know, where the colors have been blended, and it looks you can still notice it on this canvas, but it looks a little bit cleaner on this side than with here. They once again just look a little bit more garish than I would have liked. So yeah, I mean, this was a huge learning experience. I don't think I've ever done this volume in such a concentrated area of enhancements. Usually when I do them, they're just kind of here and there, little touches, or if I am doing them, like for instance, I'm about to enhance a dress, which I think is kind of a different style. It's I'm enhancing an article of clothing as opposed to a flower, and I think that'll just be a little bit nicer. But yeah, I loved working on it. Don't get me wrong. And as I was working on it, I was like, oh, that looks really good. And then I put it down next to this one, and I'm like, oh no. It's not bad. It's just, it didn't give me the effect that I was hoping for. I thought it was going to take this and amp it up, but actually what it did is kind of tamp it down. I think if I was to do this again, I would do fairy dust on my daffodil, my yellow here, which was 726. I would maybe keep the either the morganite or the nectar. Maybe keep one of those, otherwise leave it. But then I would do the Indian pink because I think that looks really good. And we didn't talk about the garnet. I think the garnet looks fine, replacing it with that deeper red. I don't know if it would look as good over on this side. I think it would look fine. Otherwise, I maybe pick the true red or a fire color. This was just a little, once again, too deep. Oops, sorry for kicking you. It's a little too deep. So, and then I would most likely keep I think the mistletoe looks cute. I think I really like the waterfall touches throughout. I think those look really good too. But when it comes to our actual lotus flower, and I keep the green, but there's probably about 7 colors in there. The bullion, the amber, the copper, either the morganite or the mocha, what was it called? I forget. The nectar, mocha nectar. Those could probably all go. The daffodil, I could even see, like I said, swapping out for some fairy dust. I think this is just overboard. I think it's just overboard. And not only that, a couple of the colors that I picked, it's just overboard. Because individually, maybe with just 2 or 3 of them, it would look really good. But the more I added, I was starting to really lose the vibrancy of the original kit. And so it just started to tip too far in one direction. And so, yeah, it's a really good learning experience. I would absolutely do something like this again. Not anytime soon, because this took a very, it didn't take a long time to do, but it consumed a lot of my diamond painting time, and doing the exact same kit twice is a little boring, but this one kept me engaged with the fun drills. But yeah, I just think that it could be toned down pretty significantly. I maybe cut the amount of enhancement drills that I used in half, if not by even more. Indian pink, keep. Some kind of green here, keep. One of the blues, keep. The AB Glow Glass Waterfall, keep that. And then maybe either pick the Morganite or the Mocha to keep. So 4 sparklers, and then do a fairy dust for the Fairy Dust 726, and that's it. So 5 instead of 12, I think would be more appropriate. So who knows? I can't get my hands on this kit anymore. It is now discontinued. There's a part of me that's like, okay, well, now you did straight up. Now you did too much. Now let's find the perfect balance and do it a third time, but I can't get my hands on this kit anymore. And I don't even know if I would have the stamina for that. But if you do have this kit, maybe this does give you a good idea of what it looks like when you know, what this looks like, and maybe you can find a happy middle ground, or you think that straight up is just fine. At the end of the day, if I was walking up to a shop and I had to pick a complete picture and they said pick one of these, I'd go with the original, just straight up. But I would probably really like some of that Indian pink in here. I'd probably really like a fun green in here. But I think the yellow's really, the daffodil, and losing all those oranges in favor of like bronzes and coppers and stuff, I think that's really what ended up making it too dark, too neutral, and a little washed out, unfortunately. I think if this copper was completely gone in favor of a bright pink, I would be much happier with it. And it's no knock to the actual sparklers, the product itself. Fantastic to work with. I love sparklers. They're great. I just, in the way that I chose them and chose where to place them, just was a little overkill, Anthony, a little overkill. That copper, I think, is probably the biggest thing that's throwing things off, because it's just kind of veiny throughout the entire thing, and it really just changes the whole vibe. So yeah, not disappointed. It was cool to see it come together, because I've never taken this hard and critical of a look at my enhancements, and I've never gone this wild with such a condensed piece of a canvas. And it was good to see that there is a tipping point between enhancing and just wholeheartedly, just fully changing what an image looks like. And so I have hands off to Diamond Art Club, because there is something to be said for subtle, minimal changes and just light touch-ups that still complement the piece, and then turning it into a little bit of a show. So yeah, it was a good learning experience for me, and I hope it helps you all out too. It might not be perfect every single time. I would say less is more. Less is always more. And but I think where I decided to place the enhancement drills, I think makes sense individually. It's just which drills or which enhancements. So for this, no metallics next time. And how many, just having this enhanced, fine. Just having this enhanced, fine. Just having these enhanced and maybe this enhanced, fine. Or 1 or 2. But I think 8, maybe 9 out of the 12 enhancement drills are all right here. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So let me know what you think. You can be brutally honest. I'm not going to be mad. And honestly, in camera, it looks better than what it looks like in person. And I think that's simply because of the angle I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from a pretty sharp angle. It looks good in person, or it looks good in camera, and I'm sure hung up and at a viewing distance, it'll look just fine. But I just like this kit better. I like the vibrancy of the colors. The transitions seem more smooth and less garish. This side, a little washed out, a little like, a little bit more pixelated. And I think that's exaggerated by those deeper tones not working with the rest of the colors. So yeah, let me know what you think. Otherwise, this has been Lotus Koi Fish, The Folly of Dude, Part 2, Ranjitha Anoop, 46 by 64 centimeters, round drill canvas with 36 colors, 5 ABs. This one has an additional 12 sparklers from DP with sparklers. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you do see some colors here you do like, if you don't like it at all, if it all looks like trash, let me know. Honesty is totally fine by me. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with friends, family members, anyone that you think might take some value out of it. Happy placing. We'll see you next time. Bye. 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 Bye.